Well, it's about 22 degrees outside today. Too cold to be outside doing anything. So I decided I'm just going to stay inside and do a few things in the house. We have got the wood cook stove cranking since it's so cold. And because we can keep it cranking like this with it being so cold outside, means it's a good time to be cooking on top of it because we won't have to have the doors and windows wide open trying to cook on it. I went through my refrigerator this morning and I found a bunch of vegetables. So I'm going to make just a big pot of vegetable soup and use up a lot of my vegetables and beans and stuff that need to be used pretty quick. This is a very hearty, very frugal recipe. Soup and stews are one of the best things you can make, especially during the winter time when you're trying to save money, to use up what you've got, and to feed a bunch of people. Now, it's just going to be me and Mr. Brown, but we can eat this for a few days. And we might even make us a big pan of cornbread to go with it. So, I just got me a handful of different ingredients, plus some of the stuff in the refrigerator that needed to be cooked. And we're going to throw us a big pot. No meat. We're not going to be using any meat today. I do realize how expensive that meat is, and to help you to stretch your budget during the week, or if you buy every 2 weeks, or if you're like me, you try to buy once a month or so. Using meat, you don't have to have meat at every meal. I know Danny he's a meat and potato man, but he'll eat vegetable soup and stuff like that. He don't, he knows it's hard to eat meat every day. It's too expensive. But we do have a lot of wild meat like deer and duck, and every once in a while we've got fish and stuff like that. But when you have to buy meat, it's just very expensive. So we're going to make us a big pot of soup. And we're going to be using other kinds of proteins in it. And you can either make this all vegetarian. I'm going to be using beef broth in it, but you can use vegetable broth in it and make it all vegetarian. And it's going to be hearty and it's going to be delicious. Let's talk what vegetables that I found that I'm going to be putting in my soup. I've got my vegetables all cut up here. And I had 6 carrots, so I cut all 6 carrots up into chunks. I had 4 medium potatoes, so I cut them all up and chunked them up. Right here I've got 2 cut up onions. They were about a medium sized onion. And I had about 4 or 5 stalks of celery. So I cut them up, the leaves and all. So that's what I've got here to start out our soup. I've got salt, I've got some bay leaves, pepper, I got some thyme, and I'm going to be putting in some red lentils. Now you can use brown or you can use red, either one, but I'm going to be using the red lentils. There's about 3/4 of a cup here, and I've got about a cup, just a little over a cup probably, of Great Northern beans. And this is going to be my protein. Now, after this cooks for probably about an hour or so, and the potatoes and carrots start getting pretty tender, I'm going to throw a head of cabbage in there. I did have 2 heads of cabbage that I found, and I chopped one up to throw into this soup. Okay, of course you don't have to do this on a wood cook stove, but that's how we're going to do it today. You do it on top of a regular stove. You can even put this in the Dutch oven and do it in the oven if you wanted to. You could do this outside on the Dutch oven. You could do this in your slow cooker, crock pot, Instant Pot. So I'm just going to add all this in here. My favorite vegetable in a soup or stew is the carrots. I think the carrots always taste so good. Now, it looks like my pot's going to run it over, but it's not. I think carrots and potatoes, when you cook them in soup and stew like that, it soaks up all them flavors, and it's just really good. I'm going to put in my white beans. And my red lentils. Now I've got 8 cups of broth in there. And as time goes on, I'll probably have to add more. I'm going to put in about a half a teaspoon of thyme. Some pepper. And about a half a teaspoon of salt. And I've got just 3 small bay leaves here that I'm going to throw in there. I'm going to give this a good stir. And then I'll put the lid on it. And I'm just going to let this cook for several hours here on the wood cook stove. Every once in a while I might have to come in and put me a chunk of wood in there to keep it good and hot. But like I said, you can do this on your regular cook stove. This is going to be good and hearty, even without meat. Now what I'll do is, after this cooks for an hour or so, I'll come back and I'll taste the broth and see if it needs any more salt or pepper or thyme. And I'll have the recipe down in the description box below the video, down in my information. So let's put the lid on it. And I'll let that come up to a boil. Then I'll kind of move it down just a little bit to where it'll just simmer. I'm going to go ahead and put, I've got a tablespoon of minced garlic here that I almost forgot to put in there. There we go. We'll be back in a few hours. Our soup is pretty much ready. So I'm going to make us some cornbread. And I'm going to make my favorite cornbread. It's simple ingredients, and it's just one of my favorites. First thing I want to do, this is what makes a really good cornbread. To get that really crispy bottom on that cornbread is your cast iron skillet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of, you can put shortening, lard. I'm going to put a little bit of bacon grease in here. Then I'll stick it in my oven, and I'll let my, while I'm mixing my ingredients up, I'll let my skillet heat up and get pretty hot, and let that bacon grease get hot before I put my batter in there. Now I'm going to be making my cornbread in the wood cook stove today, since it's so cold outside, and I'm able to really heat this cook stove up and really get it going today without having to open the windows and doors, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. Now I stoked my stove, put quite a bit of wood in it, and then I close it off so that the heat doesn't go up the pipe. It goes around my oven. So when you shut that off, which will be at the back of your wood cook stove, usually, or it could be on the side, but it's usually in the back. But you push that in, you shut that off so that that heat is going around your oven instead of going up and out your stovepipe. So that's how you heat your wood cook stove oven up. So I'm not sure, I've got a thermostat in there to control, to help me figure out to control my heat. It usually gets up to 400, 450 pretty quick when I close everything off. So it's just not something that takes a long time to really, when you get that wood cook stove just really built up with wood and the fire's really going, you shut that back off, it don't take long for that oven to get hot. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of my bacon grease, maybe a little bit more. And I'll also be putting bacon grease in with my batter too. That's optional. That's up to y'all if you want to use vegetable oil, lard, or whatever you use to make your cornbread. But we're going to be using bacon grease today. So I'm going to stick this in my oven. And let my skillet be getting pretty hot. Now this is going to come together really quick because what I'm using, this is my favorite, is I'm using, and I always, for other people that come in and want to make cornbread, I always cut off the recipe off the back of the package. This is my favorite, Martha White Self-Rising Enriched White Buttermilk Cornmeal Mix. Self-Rising. Now, I also sometimes, if I'm in the mood and really wanting to make sometimes I make it with cornmeal. It's not my favorite, but some people like it, and I'll do that sometimes for Danny or something. But I like the fine cornmeal when I'm making cornbread, and to me this comes out perfect every time, and I just like the taste. And I'll tell you again which one it is. It is the Martha White Self-Rising Enriched White Buttermilk Cornmeal Mix, and that's what I like. So first thing we're going to do, and also what I do is the recipe always calls, when you're making cornbread usually, just to use 1 egg. I use 2 eggs. I think it makes a richer cornbread. I'm just going to whisk that up. And you're going to need about 1 1/3 cups of milk, but I'm going to start with just a cup, and then I'll add to it. I need 1/4 cup of bacon grease or lard or vegetable oil, whichever one that you want to use. So that's my liquid ingredients. If you want to add a little bit of sugar to it, you go right ahead. We're not adding sugar. I'm just going to whisk it up real good. And then all I need now is 2 cups of my cornmeal mix. That's all I need. This is a 1/2 cup measure. I don't know, I can't tell you why this is my favorite cornmeal mix, but it just is. It always has been. It's what my grandma used, and I just think it makes the perfect cornbread. So that's all the ingredients, but you may have to add a little bit more milk. So you need to start from 1 to 1 1/3 cups of milk. Now if I wanted to make, I just want a regular pan of cornbread to go with my soup. So I'm not wanting Mexican cornbread. I don't want anything in here. I just want some good old cornbread. Because Mr. Brown, what he does is he'll take leftover cornbread and he'll break it up in a glass of cold milk, and that's his snack at night sometimes. So sometimes I just need to go plain Jane on the cornbread. So there we go. We got it good and mixed up. And that's about how I like it, just like that. You don't want it too thick, because then you'll have a thick, dense cornbread. And plus it'll thicken up as it sits there and waits on the pan too. So that's all it was to it. It was a little bit of 1/4 cup of bacon grease, 2 eggs, a cup to a cup and 1/3 of milk, 2 cups of my Martha White Self-Rising Cornmeal Mix, and we're getting our skillet hot. We come back, we'll put our batter in there, and then we'll get our cornbread inside the wood cook stove. Okay, I'm going to get my skillet out of the wood cook stove. Ooh, it's hot. Be careful when you're heating that skillet up because it is hot. And don't do like I did one time and forget and grab that iron skillet. Let me tell you something. I scalded my hand about a 3rd-degree burn and I cried like a baby. It hurt. Now when you dump this batter in here and you hear it start sizzling, you know that your pan is good and hot. And that's what's going to help make that brown crunchy cornbread on the bottom. So whatever recipe you use, your favorite cornbread recipe, it's always going to be best when you do it this way in an iron skillet. My soup is done. I've got it up here on top of the wood cook stove, sitting on a trivet, just keeping it warm. Now, I've got it where I think I'm supposed to have it about between 425 and 450. Now, the longer you have this open, you're going to take, so I'm going to shut it. This side of my wood cook stove, the oven, is hotter than that side because the wood boxes, right, the fire boxes are on this side. So what I'll do is come back here just a little bit, and I'm going to turn that cornbread just a little bit, turn it around, and then move it kind of to the other side. That way it won't overcook on the outside and not be done in the middle. So when you're cooking with a wood cook stove, especially when you're baking bread in a wood cook stove, it's a learning process, but you will get it, you will learn it. Because you have to learn your oven. That's the main thing. So if you're making this in just a regular cook stove, you're going to cook your cornbread in anywhere from 400 to 450 degrees. I have my convection oven, I can only cook it about 425. And usually the same in my propane oven. 425 is about it. 450 is just a little bit high. But anyways, this right here, when I looked in there, the thermostat said between 425 and 450. So I'm going to check it here in just a little bit and turn it on. Dana and I went to a few little flea markets the other day, and I'm fixing to show you just a few clips and I'll tell you where we went and where this flea market was. And I love this flea market, so anytime that I go that way, I always love to stop. This is one of the things I found. This beautiful, it's like got a crackled finish on it. It makes a beautiful, I had just all this, these arrangements. I had the plants, and I had all the little bitty flowers and everything. I just had here and there in the house. So I made a beautiful arrangement, but it's got a rooster, and it's got grapes on one side and a rooster on another, but it's really heavy. But I only paid $8 for this. And then the tablecloth I got for $5, and it fits. We took the leaf out of the table because the holidays are over, so we've got our little round table back, which is just the right size for me and Mr. Brown. And I got this beautiful tablecloth that's round and it's scalloped on the edge. So I thought I'd done pretty good. But I'll show you some clips and show you some other things that we've seen and found at the flea market. Okay, our cornbread is just about done. And it is smelling so good in this house. cornbread is good and done. I'm going to put it up here and keep it warm. I'm going to put it on trivet. Just like that. And keep everything warm till Danny gets in here and he's ready to eat. Are y'all ready to eat? I'm telling y'all, it smells so good in here. How come everything's always better cooked on a wood cook stove?
How come everything what, Mom?
Tastes better cooked on a wood cook stove.
I don't know if you get that good. People always says it does. I don't know. What are you doing?
Now they can see you up close.
See my big mouth. Mmm.
Everything's cooked just perfect.
Cabbage good.
We ain't had cabbage in a while, have we?
Carrots good. All good. You even got some beans in there.
Oh yeah. That's the protein. No meat. Cornbread. Turned out perfect.
All cooked on the wood cook stove.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Man, that's good. Wish y'all had some.
They do too. So a lot of y'all were right. Y'all meet Hank, the new addition to the homestead. He's a golden retriever, just a little over a year old, and he already loves Paw. Y'all come with us on a road trip. We're going on to a flea market / antique store. towards Mountain Grove, Missouri. Missouri is a beautiful state.
And that's what he says. He said, I just...
We are in Mammoth Springs, Arkansas, and we'll be going by the dam and by the springs. And we're going to stop at the state line and eat some breakfast. So y'all join us. I guess we can. Thought we'd eat a decent breakfast and just snack for lunch and then eat a decent supper. We are at E. Marie's Antique Mall in Mountain Grove, Missouri. This is an antique brass concrete edger. Did you see that? You like that box?
I love it.
What does it say?
Cotton Bowl twist tobacco.
Oh.
Had 9 dozen of them in there, 10 cents a piece.
Is the box for sale?
Mm-hmm. Tobacco Company, $1.24. It's $50. Tobacco Company, $1.24, Nashville, Tennessee.
I do like that Fire King mixing bowl. And I love this antique lamp too. It's so pretty.
Charlotte, you're getting the hang of it. Look at you now, you're doing it. Charlotte, brave enough to admit what you want from the moment. So keep going, kid. The world may not have noticed yet, I did. Charlotte, it's been a hard month. Noises in the night, we all slept rough. Charlotte, it's beautiful, isn't it? The moon on the rooftops, the silver light drips. Sweet dreams, kid. I hope you find some peace while you're sleeping.
So this is a coal burning, little coal burning stove. Looks like it's in good shape.
It is.
Looks like you could use it. Look like something for your shop.
Just shake the ashes there 8 to 12 hours. Buckeye colony, brooder, or broiler, I guess. Buckeye Incubator Companies. Patented in 1928. This is almost like a percolator.
I seen that last time I was in here and I thought it was pretty neat. How you pull that out. Oh, that is neat, yeah. I like that. It's a neat piece of furniture. We wouldn't have no room for it anywhere. But it is neat. Well, it was getting late and we was getting hungry, so we left and went and got something to eat. I got a ribeye steak, and Mr. Brown got some crawfish tails. And we ended it with a brownie sundae, and it was delicious. I wanted to show you a few things that I did come home with. And I showed y'all these measuring spoons. Now, I don't know how old these are, but they're pretty old. And, of course, these right here, I've had this kind of measuring spoons, probably some of the first ones I ever had. But these right here I thought were kind of unique, and they were just, they weren't very, I don't remember what I give for them, $2 or $3, can't remember now. But you can see they even got the little notches on each side for liquid. But there's a tablespoon, teaspoon, and 1/4 of a teaspoon, so the half a teaspoon is gone, but that's okay. But I just really liked them. I went ahead and got these. Both of them are brass, and they even let me keep the red bulbs, not bulbs, but the Christmas decoration, the balls. And not that I need them, but I think they look really good. I think them red Christmas ornaments look good in that brass bowl. What do y'all think? But anyways, I'll put these away. But both of these, I'm going to put a candle in this one. I'm not sure what I'll put in this one, but I really liked them. I like the brass look. So I think it'll look good in here on this table with my other stuff. And I did get this little plate that I've got some plate hangers coming in from Amazon that I ordered to hang decorative plates on my wall. And if y'all see this is Avon. Let me put it up here where I can read it. It is Sweet Country Harvest from Avon. And I've never seen this before. But it's a pretty little plate. Thought it'd be pretty hanging on the wall. And then I got another tablecloth for $3. This one too was $3. Pretty color. Real pretty red color. So I just want to share that with y'all. That's just some of the things that I ended up coming home with. So I hope y'all enjoyed being with us today. Just our daily vlog. And we'll come back and we'll see y'all in a few days. Don't know what we'll be doing, but we'll be doing something. God bless everybody. We love y'all. Most of all, God loves you.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.